Yep. All right. Welcome to episode number 82 of the Let's Discuss Gaming podcast. I am your host, Triple J. Joining me is my co-host, Dr. Games 101.
What's going on, guys? Good evening.
And we're going to do what we do every 2 weeks. That's meet to talk about the latest news in gaming. Almost like Pinky in the Brain when Pinky goes, Wayne, what do you want to do today? And Wayne goes, what we try to do every day. Take over the world.
Yeah, I remember that for Pinky in the Brain, yeah.
All right, but you ready to jump into the first story?
Yeah, why not?
All right. First one up. PlayStation Plus free games for October 2023 revealed. The Callisto Protocol, Weird West, and Farming Simulator 22 headlined PlayStation Plus in October. The free PlayStation Plus Essential games for October have been officially confirmed and as previously leaked. Subscribers can look forward to supernatural Wild West action, the high-pressure world of agriculture, and for something slightly less nerve-wracking, Cosmic Carnage. The Callisto Protocol headlines PlayStation Plus Essential in October alongside Weird West and Farming Simulator 22. These games will be available starting Tuesday the 3rd. As usual, all three titles will be available for PlayStation Plus members across the Essential, Extra, and Premium tiers of the service. The Callisto Protocol's arrival is well-timed as it lands just in time for the spooky season. A spiritual successor to Dead Space that arrived months before its excellent remake in early 2023, the Callisto Protocol's development was led by the creator of EA's sci-fi horror franchise, Glenn Schofield. Unfortunately, the game didn't live up to expectations when it first launched, although recent updates have seen several tweaks, improvements, and new content added to the Callisto Protocol, which was developed by Schofield's Striking Distance studio. Sadly, the missed sales goals led to layoffs of more than 30 developers at Striking Distance in August, and Schofield voluntarily resigned as CEO of the studio. Though it starts off on a strong note, the Callisto Protocol focuses on action-heavy spectacle, fails to adequately explore its horror, and overcrowds its weak combat mechanics, Jordan Ramey wrote in GameSpot's The Callisto Protocol review. Farming Simulator 22 is exactly what you think it is, but even more detailed than you can imagine. First released in November of 2021, this entry in the massively popular Farming Simulator series is all the thrill of commercial farming without having to wake up an ungodly hour or sit down with piles of paperwork. The game sold more than 1.5 million copies in its first week alone, just to give you an idea as to how big its reach is. Weird West is a fascinating reimagining of the Wild West, one where gunslingers can battle each other and deadly monsters prowling the frontier. Characters, factions, and locations will react to your decisions, and often the game will force you to make a tough choice that has major ramifications on your journey. If you haven't claimed them yet, the September PlayStation Plus games of Saints Row, Black Desert Travel Edition, and Generation Zero were available only until the 3rd. So you didn't have much time to get them if you hadn't gotten the September games yet.
Right.
My question to you is, do you care about the Callisto Protocol, Farming Simulator 22, or Weird West?
To be honest with myself, I'm not that into more of the those type of games just now at this time. I'm still backlogged on other games I want to play, like GoldenEye for the Xbox One. They ported over to the Xbox One. As well as I'm trying to finish up a game called Child of Light. That game's been out since like 2013. A YouTuber by the name of Boogie2988 played that game. That was pretty good. I want to finish up that specific game I bought back years back. I'm still stuck on the first try of the game. So yeah, sorry guys, not right now with these games.
All right, yeah, none of these games really are up my alley. I mean, Weird West probably would be if I had. I'd probably be playing it right now if I still had Game Pass.
Yeah,
the other two really, I mean, Farming Simulator 22. Is it really any different than Farmville on Facebook? I mean,
yeah.
I just can't believe it's gotten so many people, so many sales as it has. 1.5 million in its first week.
People want to farm, they want to go out there in the outdoors and make some food for themselves, digitally speaking, and take it from there.
Yeah. And the Callisto Protocol, I mean, I don't know. I like Dead Space, or at least Dead Space 1 and 2, although I never beat any of them, to be honest. I got stuck on 2 and 3.
Likewise.
So, yeah, the Callisto Protocol, I just don't see myself being interested in that either. But if you got PlayStation Plus and you signed up for the extra, if you signed up for one of their tiers, then these games are available to download.
Oh yeah, definitely. I personally myself, Callisto Protocol maybe it's not a good game to play, and I've seen gameplay of it. But the disadvantage of itself being a bad game itself is very repetitive with certain move sets. So it's not a variable amount of combos or a variable amount of move sets you could do with in that game. So that's what I hear. By one YouTuber, some random YouTuber talked about it for like a good 30 minutes almost, and I was kind of like surprised he pointed this out in this kind of detail. So unfortunately, I don't know his YouTube name, but let's just say that he did a good job analyzing how good or bad a game can be at times. So especially because you don't really need a weapon, like an assault rifle or a pistol, to really kill the monsters. You just you melee them like that of an atomic heart in a sense. So
yeah, ready to move on?
Yeah.
All right, next. I really want to know what Dr. Games 101 is going to have to say about this one. Capcom president says game prices are too low. The Resident Evil publisher's boss suggests people will still buy pricier games even during a recession. In comments this past weekend, Capcom president Haruhiro Tsuchimoto asserted that video game prices are too low, pointing to the massive increase in developmental cost and how game prices haven't risen at the same rate. He suggested that increasing the prices of games would be a healthy option for an industry. It was only a year ago that the era of $70 video games really begun, as numerous AAA releases like Gotham Knights and God of War Ragnarok began selling for $10 more than what players had come to expect. Now, in 2023, around half of AAA games from large publishers have adopted the new $70 price point. Yet, Capcom is one of the few publishers that's abstained from rising prices thus far. It has continued to sell new games like Street Fighter VI at $60 instead of $70, but that might be changing. According to a September 23rd report from Nikkei, Sugimoto spoke at the Tokyo Game Show about various topics. While speaking at the event, the president of Capcom reportedly explained that he felt the price of video games was too low. Development costs are about 100 times higher than during the Famicom era, but software prices have not gone up that much, said Sugimoto, referring to Nintendo's massively successful 8-bit console from the 80s. There's also a need to raise wages. Considering the fact that wages are rising in the industry as a whole, I think raising unit prices is a healthy option for business. Sugimoto further explained that even a recession or society's low general confidence in the business world shouldn't matter when it comes to game prices, saying that these factors have little to do with the game industry and that people still bought games even during the Lehman Brothers stock collapse in 2008. Just because there's a recession doesn't mean you won't go to the movie theater or go to your favorite artist's concert. High-quality games will continue to sell, said Sugimoto. Video game prices will likely go up even if gamers don't like it. There's no doubt that in 2023, it cost a lot more to make a game than it did in 1983. Games are bigger and more complex than ever before, requiring more people, time, and resources to create. Even many smaller games are still vastly bigger and more complex than any game released in the 80s and 90s. But games today are also jam-packed with always online requirements, cosmetic stores, and paid battle passes. Sometimes the argument made is that these things are needed for publishers to make money, and if prices on games were raised, these microtransactions and other annoyances would go away. However, looking at how many $70 games still contain all that stuff in 2023, I'm not so sure about that. Regardless, the industry can't sustain this pace forever. As games get bigger and bigger, failures become riskier, and trying something new becomes more unlikely. Something has to change, and given the choice, publishers will probably increase the price you pay for big games like the next Halo or Grand Theft Auto in the coming years, perhaps even past $70. So, Dr. Games 101, what do you think of this?
The Capcom president, I think he's delusional, saying that game prices are too low. I would say he's like,
don't sugarcoat it. Tell us how you really feel.
He's very detached from what's going on in everyday life as Americans here in the United States. Because Capcom's located somewhere in Japan, right? Or at least the main headquarters in Japan.
Haruhiro Sujimoto. I think he's works in Japan.
Yeah, Japan is different from the United States because of the economy. Yes, they got much better over the years since the 1997 crisis in Asia, where what happened during the stock market and all. But since then, they got better trains, better services, better products. So I don't know what to say about them. Like they're not delusional. The Japanese, obviously, I respect their culture. I respect their economy. The people themselves. I always want to visit Japan, but that was a little too much from that president of Capcom. So he's either delusional or he's just saying it for the fact that he wants to outbeat the United States in that competition. So I can understand that wholeheartedly. Personally, myself, I can't just buy an easy $75 video game every single month for God knows how many months at a time per console cycle. I used to do that. I used to choose between get two games every year. That's usually like Call of Duty, Halo. Usually, well, Call of Duty I got a 5-star place since 2016. So before that was Halo, it was Body Count, it was Crash Bandicoot, it was some other games out there that were available on the 360 and PS2, etc., etc. Because PS2 was still making video games up until 2013, 2014, give or take. But yeah, guys, like you already know the feeling as a gamer. It's very time consuming, it costs money, and yes, we can allocate our resources for other types of entertainment out there. Perhaps get a girlfriend and take her out to eat and stuff like that, such and such. But that's cost money too, so it's kind of like, who are they kidding? Everybody's money consuming these days as a regular everyday American like you and I, Triple J and I. It's they're delusional. These guys in these higher positions in companies. They got all the money in the world. Not all the money in the world, but they got enough money to where it's like, hey, they could go take a yacht, rent a yacht, or get a couple of girls, have a good time, or they can take their family out for a vacation in the mountains, somewhere in Okinawa, Japan, or something like that, where all this like shrines and galore and stuff like that, things that matter. So they're okay at the top of these type of positions. So I have to say that the guy is just delusional still. Yeah, I hope he'll reconsider what he's saying in the next few weeks, months. Other than that, it is what it is for the time being with these executives in power.
Yeah, I mean, I see where he's coming. I see where he's coming from because when the Nintendo came out, which was the United States equivalent of the Famicom in Japan, games were mainly $40 here. The games really didn't climb up to 60. I'd say till at least maybe the not even the Super Nintendo era, more like the Nintendo 64 era.
Yeah,
is when $60 started to become the norm for at least brand new games. But at the same time, the Capcom president has to realize just because he's sitting pretty and still has money doesn't mean everyone else has money. I was still buying games in 2008, but that's because I had a job. If people lost their job because of the recession, they're not going to spend money on entertainment. They're going to spend that money, what money they have, on food and keeping their lights on and
heat.
Yeah, food, keeping the lights on and keeping the water running.
Heat included, for sure. This was the time.
Yeah, well, I was just trying to think of the bills I have to pay monthly.
Oh, okay. Right.
But anyway, so, I mean, and if you really want to go into it, look at how many movie theaters are shutting down in America. I saw movie theater after movie theater just shutting down in New York before I left.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not
Lynbrook. So, if you're referring to one in Lynbrook, New York, they actually got to build a new theater after that. They tore it down for a brand new theater upgrade. Very bit different now. It looks
okay,
good.
But I think the movie theaters in Valley Stream shut down.
Oh yeah, I got changed it to like a multi parking lot of like other stores like the Buffalo Wings and Sonic and 24 Hour Fitness, etc., etc. So I've been there before earlier this month, last month. So
Okay. Yeah, so I mean, but they used to have a multiplex, Valley Stream Multiplex Cinemas,
Mm-hmm.
and that was gone when I left.
Mm-hmm.
The Lindbrook Theater still was being rebuilt, I guess, so that wasn't an option. Closest movie choices were like I think Franklin Square or Rockville Center if
Yeah.
we wanted to see a movie in movie theaters. Um, so it's not like it. And honestly, not many people are going to see movies. I mean, how many movies? Unless it's how many movies are really making such a killing when they release in theaters. You more often hear about bomb after bomb instead of uh, instead of movies. Even movies going to streaming services don't recoup what they make.
Yep. The only movie we consider in the Marvel Cinematic Universe specifically is the Spider-Man 3 movie with the Tom Holland guy, the new Spider-Man character actor. So that made a good difference in the box office within a couple of weekends, the first couple of weekends in theaters. Other than that,
Yeah,
we still got Blade coming out. We still got other movies coming out like that. So it's hopefully Blade will make a big difference because people are anticipating to see Blade, how good it is or how bad it will be when it comes out next year.
yeah, but also, to get back, movie theaters aren't that much. I don't know about concerts, how good they're doing, but to get back to also trying to understand where this guy's coming from. Yeah, Grand Theft. I mean, look at Grand Theft Auto 5. I'll keep bringing it up. That took anywhere from 165 million to like 250 million to make.
Oh yeah. And
So
within over the 10 years, also, if I can say, with GTA 5, over the last 10 years with GTA Online, they made about $1 billion within a certain amount of time after that of releasing GTA Online. So
they made it. Not even. It didn't even take that long. They made $1 billion in sales in just, I think, 3 days.
no wait, 3 days? Wow.
Yeah, when Grand Theft Auto 5 first came out in 2013.
Oh yeah, the release of it, of course, the game itself, but the online version that's where the money making is at after the release over the last 10
Right.
years.
Yeah, I mean, like the article said, you got microtransactions, you got battle passes, you got in-game stores that take real money, um, and it's like if you're not capitalizing on this, whose fault is that basically? While they annoy players, people are still some people will still check out what they can buy as a microtransaction.
I admit that I'm gonna be one of those guys too. Every now and then, I'll buy like a $5, what's it called, Apex token or two or whatever once for a few months.
And you probably get the battle pass every year.
Every 3 months, yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, obviously, I don't. But the thing is, he is completely wrong if he thinks games should go above $70. Especially right now, because as it becomes less and less affordable, people are either going to go to retro gaming because they can buy, spend $100 and get a collection of games like off eBay or something, or they're just going to spend their money on a different hobby altogether.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I go to flea markets in random parts of the United States where some games be sold for like $1, others be $5, once in a while $50, depending on how good the condition the retro games are. So you never know.
Yeah, so I mean, I understand I understand that he's saying that cost is going up, but the prices are not. But at the same time, he's not working. He's not sitting at $250, $350 a week.
Yeah, that's hard. To work $10 an hour, $300 a week before taxes. It's that hard out there.
Yeah, so I mean, I hate the microtransactions. I hate the battle passes. I still remember Darkness to Curse when we were talking about, I think, Dead or Alive 5 or 6. I think that it was Dead or Alive 6 microtransactions. Like, if you wanted to buy the different hair color, you had to buy a different color separately for every character separately at $1 a piece.
Damn.
And I think Angry Joe added all up, and it was like over $7,000 of DLC if you bought everything.
Holy shit.
If I'm not mistaken, this was like, Darkness and us talked about it about 3 years ago now.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I hate those annoyances, and if they were completely gone from video games, maybe he would have a point. But I'd rather the annoyances be there if that's what's keeping game prices from going up as much as they would have if these things were not there.
Oh yeah.
And I just think Capcom, whether or not they want to, maybe it's a necessary evil. Maybe start a battle pass. Maybe start, extra outfits or for as DLC purchases or in-store purchases. Period.
Oh, definitely.
Because it is a recession, and not many people can have that much disposable money to spend.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Ready to move on?
Yeah, I'm ready.
All right. Next. Microsoft signs Octopath Traveler 2 for Xbox Game Pass. Microsoft has told IGN Octopath Traveler 2 coming to Game Pass was listed in error on its Xbox Wire post, which has now been updated. As an error just note reads, we've removed the mention of Octopath Traveler 2 coming to Game Pass, which was included in error. Octopath Traveler 2 will arrive on Xbox platforms in 2024. Okay. So it's not coming to Game Pass, but it's coming to Xbox. Dr. Games 101, have you played the first Octopath Traveler?
I never played it yet. I did have opportunities to play it, though, when I had the Game Pass available in my possession on my account. Unfortunately, not anymore for the last month almost, and it sucks, I never get a chance to play Octopath Traveler yet. I also want to play Elysium as well, too, but that's another game of itself, another RPG game. But Octopath Traveler, I saw the trailer of it. It was like a 2-minute trailer, and it's kind of similar to that of like a mixture of Final Fantasy, Chrono Trigger, a little bit of I guess you could say Castlevania if you want to incorporate like certain like magical beasts and stuff like that. Yeah, it's something where it's like it stands out for basic RPG gamers. I'm not a personal RPG gamer of myself as far as like in my fortitude or my forte of it all. So that's like something to play in the future, but not like right away for me. So eventually I will buy Octopath Traveler 1 and 2. Definitely the first one, definitely. And I'll try it out for myself with you guys on YouTube. Check me out on Dr. Games 101 on the YouTube channel. So, and I'll take it from there.
Yeah, I've never played I saw the first game on Game Pass when I had my subscription. Never got to play it. Octopath Traveler 2. They said it's coming to Xbox, just not Game Pass, so it's still going to be on Xbox. But like I said, I never played it. I never played the first one, so I don't know what to expect from the second one. That's all I really have to say about that one.
I would like to say
anything else?
I would like to say this though, that most likely if the first Octopath Traveler costs about $50, a brand new, if you want to own it. Last time I checked, though, it was one that was just released on the Game Pass library, but with the release of the full version on the by itself. So it should cost already like $50 for the second Octopath Traveler next year. Hopefully, because that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to amp the prices for these hyped up games, as of late. Like because these graphics on these games are not I say they're not great. It's just that they're not as like Horizon Forbidden West or Ragnarok Thor or not Thor Ragnarok. What's called?
God of War.
What's that?
God of War.
God of War. Yeah, God of War Ragnarok. Excuse me. I'm mixing the two movie and the game together. although there's this thing though that whole team that small guy and then Kratos, in the first the first God of War reboot, that was pretty good right there. You remember that fight?
No, I never. No, I didn't get far. I didn't get far in the first God of War.
I saw a gameplay of it on YouTube, so for most of it, it was pretty good. It was very interactive with that fight. So one day I will get a copy of the reboot.
But going back to what we were talking about, what if Octopath Traveler 2 is $70?
Well, I guess
what if Octopath Traveler?
It's gonna take a lot longer for me to get the game then.
Yeah. So anyway, it's coming to Xbox, but I hope no one got renewed their Game Pass subscription just for that game. So, it's on Xbox, but it's not coming to Game Pass.
Right.
Ready to move on?
Yeah, I'm ready.
All right. Next. FTC revives challenge against Microsoft's $69 billion Activision Blizzard buyout. How the FTC uses limited taxpayer resources is their decision. The FTC, Federal Trade Commission, plans to move forward with its administrative case against Microsoft's $69 billion buyout of Call of Duty maker Activision Blizzard. The FTC announced its plan to move forward with its in-house trial after a pause put in place during the summer. However, without a preliminary injunction, the FTC cannot prevent Microsoft from closing the deal before the October 18th deadline. In July, FTC boss Lina Khan was accused of wasting taxpayer money with an appeal of the Xbox trial verdict, and Khan is facing similar criticism now following the revival of its administrative case. Hey, they need something to do during the day. Activision Blizzard executive Lulu Chang Mercier tweeted to say the company is focused on working with Microsoft toward closing, before adding how the FTC uses limited taxpayer resources is their decision. Maybe it shouldn't be, but that's a conversation for a different time. In April, the UK's Competition and Markets Authority announced its final report on the acquisition, citing competition concerns around cloud gaming in the UK. Since then, Microsoft has defeated the FTC in court, obtained approval from key regulator of the European Commission, and secured an agreement with console rival Sony for the provision of Activision games on PlayStation for a decade. In August, Microsoft submitted a new Activision Blizzard deal for review after the CMA confirmed the original deal was blocked. The revised deal involves selling off Activision's cloud gaming rights to Ubisoft, which would be free to port cloud versions of Activision Blizzard games to any platform. And finally, on September 22nd, the CMA announced that this new deal addresses its previous concerns and opens the door to the deal being cleared. Microsoft has an October 18th deadline to deliver the buyout, which now looks inevitable. The FTC's internal judge will hear its arguments on why Microsoft should not be allowed to buy Activision Blizzard 21 days after an appeals court rules on whether the deal may go forward. So, basically, it looks like this deal is definitely gonna happen, but the FTC needing to fill their day with something is using taxpayer money to try to prevent it. What do you think?
Millions upon millions of dollars just to stop a multi-billion-dollar contract or multi-billion-dollar merger, and I don't know what to say about that. It's a shame, you know. I understand it's legal for them to merge every now and then, these companies and these entities and all, but FTC, they put up a fight against Phil Spencer and and Bill Gates and all over the last year and a half, almost 2 years now, or over 2 years more exact, to be very more exact, 2 years now, and they lost the fight. They got discredited the other month or two earlier, back in the summertime. So I don't see them trying to go back at it again.
Yeah, like I said, I guess the FTC needs something to do than twiddle their thumbs. Don't worry, they'll be coming back after YouTubers soon enough. But when this deal closes, but yeah, it's basically a government agency that has too much time on their hands. I mean, they're trying to stop something that they had their chance to stop it. The judge said that they didn't have a reason to try to stop it. They lost. Move on.
Yeah.
It's the same, the whole COPPA thing that YouTubers had to deal with, that was a product of the FTC as well.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, Uh, um, I was thinking of a line from the movie Tremors 3. Um, there's Michael Gross's character, Bert, the government X. What should we do? Do we have a deal? And Bert goes, You're the government. Do what you do best. Find something simple and complicate it. And that's what the FTC should do. F off and find something simple and complicate it.
Yeah.
You know, maybe rearrange their offices. That should kill some time. But yeah, I don't see the FTC really making any ground on this. I mean, it's an in-house trial. So what? If the FTC decides there's something to go after, they already lost the appeal. They tried to appeal, and the judge and the court said, no, you have no grounds for an appeal. We're not granting you a second trial. What's left to do?
Just pray and hope to God that the game industry doesn't collapse within itself of all these mergers. That's all.
Well, yeah, but at the same time, I don't think it, because you're always going to have independent. You know, you got more independent game developers than before, but at the same time, you know, a lot of game developers are losing people, whether it's just projects coming to an end or just having to basically cut cost.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I wouldn't worry about something like that too quickly. You obviously don't want a monopoly or a triopoly or anything like that, but you know, I don't think we have to worry about that just yet.
Definitely.
Ready to move on?
Yeah, I'm ready.
All right. Next. Teardown hits PS5 and Xbox Series this November. Teardown is a voxel-based simulation game all about destruction, as its name implies. It launched in April of last year on PC, and earlier this year, developer Tuxedo Labs announced the game was coming to consoles this year. Now the studio has revealed Teardown hits PS5 and Xbox Series on November 15th. When it hits PS5 on November 15th, it will also join the PlayStation Plus game catalog, PlayStation Plus Extra and Premium members. To coincide with today's console launch news, Tuxedo Labs has also revealed a series of new missions, maps, vehicles, and more coming to Teardown over the next year, as well as the game's first ever season pass. Check all that for yourself in the release date trailer below. Tuxedo Labs recommends that new players start with Teardown's story campaign, which features 40 levels. Each begins with a main task like stealing an object or destroying certain things, and a series of bonus challenges. You must complete these tasks using various tools, weapons, vehicles, and more before a clock runs out of time. After making your way through the campaign, Tuxedo Labs recommends the Sandbox mode, which allows you to explore all the campaign levels without limitation. Alongside the console release, Tuxedo Labs is releasing the Time Campers DLC, which is a campaign expansion set in the Wild West. The new expansion adds to the experience in many different ways, introducing a new storyline that takes you back in time, equips you with old-fashioned weapons and tools, and sets your destructive sights upon a dusty mining town, a PlayStation blog post reads. It's a departure from the contemporary setting of Teardown's main campaign, but the heist concept feels right at home in the era of elaborate bank robberies. In the spring of next year, Tuxedo Labs will add the Folk Race DLC to Teardown, which puts players behind a fleet of new vehicles to use in races and destructive challenges. After Folk Race, Tuxedo Labs has two more unannounced DLCs set to release in 2024. The Teardown Season Pass will get you all four of these DLCs. Teardown is currently available on PC. It hits PS5 and Xbox Series on November 15th. In the meantime, watch Game Informer's Teardown NGT. Do you plan to get Teardown for PC, Dr. Games 101?
It's like a racing competition game of sorts, right?
It actually looks more like a destructive game.
Oh, like Twist the Metal almost.
Yeah. You want me to watch the release date trailer so we can get a better?
Yeah, let's do that.
Okay. 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 Kind of looks like destroying things in Minecraft. I have to say.
It's like a Minecraft version of Twisted Metal.
So I mean, this game is already out on PC. I mean, so you could get it now since you don't have a PS5 or Xbox One. But is it a game you think you would play, or?
I will try it out. I mean, I'm not going to be like too excited about playing it. I will admit that to some extent. But if it's still good to play, I'll still play it. Personally, myself, I prefer the Twisted Metal format of card competition gaming. If they ever have something like that in not just the future, if the Teardown is one of them, then let's see what it can do. You know.
I don't think Teardown's card competition. I think Teardown's more just destroy things in creative ways. Maybe you have to destroy things in specific ways, while Teardown more is like Demolition Derby with weapons.
Mm-hmm.
And we haven't really had a new Twisted Metal game since the PS3 one that didn't do too well, unfortunately.
Yeah, Up at Noon, the original cast of Up at Noon talked about that before Greg. He was a host of Up at Noon. He was like the Daily Show with Jon Stewart type of show format, but it's more for gamers. So they did a good job back then to create that kind of comedy for that kind of show. But as of late, for the last like 5 years, it's more towards like a contemporary format of showing of these games Up at Noon. So I stopped watching Up at Noon since like 2014 now. Since then, that happened.
Okay.
Yeah, check it out. Check out the older episodes of Up at Noon, guys. You might like it. It's kind of like the Daily Show, but for video gamers, you know.
All right. Well, yeah. So I mean, like I said, you know, the concept sounded cool until the graphics looked like Minecraft. I mean,
yeah.
I mean, PS5 and Xbox Series, and this is honestly the best they could do graphics-wise. You know, it's just like when they said they needed the extra power of the PS5 and Xbox Series for Gotham Knights, and then Gotham Knights couldn't even run at 60 frames per second. So, yeah, I mean, the concept sounds cool, but the graphics are in a game like this is a turnoff, honestly.
Yeah, I hope they sold for no more than $20 by the looks of those graphics and all.
Yeah. Ready to move on?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. Next. Environmental thriller The Forest Cathedral hits PS5 this Halloween. The Forest Cathedral is an environmental thriller that hit Xbox Series and PC earlier this year in March. Now, Game Informer can exclusively reveal it hits PlayStation 5 on Halloween, making this a great spooky experience for the holiday. For the uninitiated, The Forest Cathedral is inspired by events surrounding real-life scientist Rachel Carson's investigation into dichloride, otherwise known as the harmful DDT pesticide. Publisher Whitehorn Games says this game is a dramatic reimagining of Carson's environmental science book, Silent Spring. They got a release date trailer. As you can see in the trailer above, in the Forest Cathedral, players take on the role of Rachel in her new field research biologist position on a mysterious island. What begins as simply completing weekly work tasks becomes something more horrific when Rachel learns about what DDT is doing to the area. Whitehorn says players will slowly uncover the horrific effects of the pesticide using advanced environment technology to complete puzzles that weave together 3D exploration with 2D platforming. As far as gameplay goes, players switch between Rachel Carson in a 3D world and a little man inside the 2D world of Rachel's scanning tools. It's in this 2D world where players will solve puzzles and complete platforming challenges. The Forest Cathedral is available right now on Xbox Series and PC via Steam. It hits PS5 on Halloween. Are you interested in checking out the Forest Cathedral?
Sounds like a maze to go through, sort of like a puzzle platforming game, right? It's like kind of like that.
They said it's exploration, but it's going to be like platforming and puzzle solving when you switch to the little man in the 2D gameplay segments.
Okay.
I could watch the play the trailer if you want.
Yeah, let's play the trailer again.
You will be in isolation for 3 months, studying the wildlife on the island. Camp, water, and sky.
That must be the little man.
Science Island, if you will.
That must be the little man.
Pesticide that only works on mosquitoes specifically? What's that swirling around in there? I didn't even know organisms could glow. I should be able to gather samples of the fish once the net is released. It's not good. Oh, mosquitoes. Why there's 4 of them?
Yeah. I'm sorry. Again, it looks like the 2D segments look more fun than the 3D segment.
Yeah. That's something, all right.
maybe just cut out the 3D games and keep that black and red levels as the actual game itself. I mean, I can't see something like this going for $60-$70. I mean,
yeah, that's a ripoff right there. Maybe $30 at the most.
At the most, yeah. But I mean, come on. And the thing is, I know the PS4 and Xbox One's old, but come on, look at these graphics. It's not like the PS4 and Xbox One's incapable of doing these graphics. Aren't we supposed to get a step up when we release new hardware? I mean,
yeah, for the PS5 exclusively, right?
Yeah, I mean, this. I'm sorry, the last 2 games that we've talked about that are coming out, or at least being released on a new console, have been disappointments once we watch the trailer.
Yeah, it doesn't see all that great. I mean, it looks interesting at the same time as, like, exploration, of course, but it's just that it's like, where's the direction it's going towards, you know? It's something that I don't see yet, you know?
Yeah, so, I mean, if you got a PC or an Xbox Series, you can play it now. I don't know what's so scary about this, but it's coming out on Halloween for PS5 players. Ready to move on?
Oh, it's out on Series X and S already?
Yes, and PC.
Okay.
So if you want to play it, maybe, depending on how much it costs.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't imagine this being a game that pushes even a casual PC to the limit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But ready to move on?
Yeah, I'm ready.
All right, next. Let me turn this off. Naughty Dog reportedly lays off at least 25 with Last of Us multiplayer game on ice. Kotaku is reporting that Naughty Dog, the PlayStation first-party studio behind The Last of Us and Uncharted franchises, has laid off at least 25 developers, cutting their contract short. The layoffs reportedly began last week, according to two of Kotaku's sources, and various departments from art to production were hit. The majority of those laid off were Naughty Dog's Quality Assurance Testing Department. The 25 contract developers laid off were part of a downsizing at the studio, but Kotaku reports that full-time staff do not appear to be affected. The publication's sources say severance is not being offered to those laid off, and those affected, as well as those still working at Naughty Dog, are being pressured to keep the news quiet. Kotaku says the contracts of those affected won't be officially cut until the end of October, and those hit are expected to work through this month. Game Informer has reached out to PlayStation to ask for comment or statement. Within Kotaku reports, the publication says that one of its sources says Naughty Dog's in development Last of Us multiplayer game is not completely canceled, but is basically on ice at this point. This follows news from earlier this year where Naughty Dog said the game needs more time and that our team will continue to work on the project as well as other games in development, including a brand new single-player experience. A few weeks after that statement from the studio, Bloomberg reported that the team working on the game was scaled back after a recent evaluation. The publication wrote that Sony asked Destiny 2 developer Bungie, which it now owns after a $3.6 billion acquisition in January of last year, to assess The Last of Us multiplayer game's development. Bungie reportedly questioned its long-term viability as a live service game, which led to Naughty Dog reassessing the game, scaling back the team, and moving developers to other projects. The hearts of the Game Informer staff are with everyone affected by these layoffs and still at the studio. So, what do you think of these layoffs happening at Naughty Dog?
I'm very surprised. That's surprising at the same time. It's kind of weird to say this. It's to say that Naughty Dog, after all these decades, have been around for making Crash Bandicoot games, Uncharted games. You figure it has a multi-billion-dollar IPs combined together, and they had to cut 25 people out of their company staff. It's kind of like, weird. But I guarantee you, though, if you checked out the executives' bonuses over the next several months from here on out, it must have not quadruple, but at least it will increase by several $1,000s easily after cutting back those workers. It's like the typical thing every time there's a big layoff. Dozens upon dozens and hundreds of workers cut from a company, and the executives getting bonuses beyond belief. Like, doesn't make any sense. I thought you guys had to cut workers in order to, hold back on the debts and all, But hell, I don't know that kind of math myself. It's all about like self-interest at this rate. It goes to the executives. So
yeah, I mean but the thing is, it's kind of, I'm surprised Naughty Dog was telling people to keep quiet about this, and to tell developers, hey, you're still working till the end of October, even if we're letting you go at the end of October. So we still expect you to do what's expected of you. I mean, these people, on one hand, while they're probably still being paid at least till the end of October, they need to find new jobs when that happens in a few weeks.
Oh yeah.
And I'm surprised Naughty Dog was telling its employees, hey, keep quiet about this news. I mean, it's almost like they got something to hide.
The bonuses to the workers, that's one thing, though.
Yes, so you see, we do this every podcast. We hear at least now one studio or multiple studios cutting back workers. This is the first time where the higher ups are telling employees, "Hey, be quiet about this layoff, or these layoffs." It it just looks suspect.
Well, at least they're like Konami with their working conditions like here, so it's kind of like, thinking that it's just a typical 25 people laid off, not like thousands upon thousands being, being disciplined for leaking information from through Konami and all. Because Konami are here they mistreat their workers very badly. So.
Yeah, so unfortunately it sucks for those people, and like I said, I just don't think Naughty Dog is handling this the right way at all.
Oh yeah.
But ready to move on?
Yeah, let's move on.
Alright, next. Batman Arkham Trilogy Switch release delayed to December. Earlier this year, developer Rocksteady Studios and Warner Bros. Games revealed that it was bringing its Batman Arkham Trilogy to the Switch this fall. This collection does not include Batman Arkham Origins, a great game which was developed by Gotham Knight studio Warner Bros. Games Montreal. The Batman Arkham Trilogy on the Switch collection was due out this month on October 13th, but now has been delayed to December. More specifically, Batman Arkham Trilogy hit Switch on December 1st. As for why, the team says more time is needed on the development. More time is needed to bring players the best possible experience on Nintendo Switch, Rocksteady's statement on Twitter reads. We apologize to fans who are excited to play this version of the trilogy. Thank you for your patience. In the meantime, check out Arkham Trilogy Switch reveal trailer, and then read Game Informer's reviews of Batman Arkham Asylum, Arkham City, and Arkham Knight. After that, check out the latest Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League trailer, and then read about how Rocksteady delayed it to February. Are you going to check out the Batman Arkham Trilogy on Switch this December? I'm not. Dr. Games 101, have you checked out the Batman games at all, or no?
I do have a double pack of Arkham Asylum and Arkham City that I bought on Figurehunt many, not years, but good 3 or 4 years now I bought them back. But I never got a chance to complete the game because, of time restrictions. So, because I'm playing other games like Apex Legends and so on and so forth for things that matter. So, I should make time to play more gameplay with you guys on the Arkham games, but it's not that. I don't think they're that great. It's just that, Batman was not really my favorite character or favorite franchise to look at for video games. I like to look at Batman more towards of its anime series, especially an animation series like that of the 1990s animation series with the Luke Skywalker character. What's his name again? Who played as Joker. So that was pretty cool to have him on that show. So it's and I was like what 10, maybe 11 years old when it came out. So. Yeah, so I'm more for Batman for its movies and animation, not for its video games. I will admit that. Okay.
Yeah, I'm not gonna check it out because I've beaten the 3 old Arkham games. Arkham Knight, Arkham Asylum, Arkham City, and Arkham Origins. I still have Arkham Knight on Xbox One that I haven't beaten. But yeah, I mean. I understand the games start off slow, but like once you get past the introduction and you get used to the controls and stuff, it actually is a good story. It actually is quite interesting. I just have to say, I don't think you gave it enough time before you formed an opinion on the Arkham games.
Don't get me wrong. I still will play the games no matter what. I have enough time, hard drive space, etc., etc. It's just that I like to look at Batman for its theatrical and animations, not the video games. Sounds weird for me to say that, but Batman used to be originally for kids who are watching on the weeknights, the original Batman with Adam West in it. Now, of course, with other Batman franchises, sub-franchises, what to call like that, the animated series of the 1980s, The Batman, Batman Beyond, like those ones I look at towards the most for watching Batman, so.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's what was so great. Why the Arkham series is so revered among gamers is most superhero games before then were hit or miss. Batman was included, like in the N64 era. So when that's another reason these games are so revered is when Batman Arkham Asylum came out, people already had low expectations. Because they have Return of the Joker on N64, which is an uninspired beat 'em up, Rise of Sin Tzu on Xbox. The original Xbox was
Yeah.
not really interesting. At least that's what I thought. So like when Arkham Asylum came out, like in 2008 or whenever it was, it just blew everyone's expectations out of the water.
Yeah.
But I do have to say, all 4 games from Arkham Asylum to Arkham Knight have been good. I don't think Gotham Knights is that good. But then again, that's like after. I'm not going to bring that up.
Understood.
Well, no, it would just spoil the ending of Arkham Knight for anyone who hasn't played it yet.
Yeah, it's been about 8 years Arkham Knight came out, so me personally, I should have already been up to Arkham City by now with my gameplay in. But as you can tell, like I said, reasons of hard drive space and time, 'cause I'm part of tournaments now for the last year now, so it's not. So it's kind of like that's my shtick for the time being until I get more free time, So
right, yeah. So I mean, it sucks that it's on It sucks that it's on Switch. That people on Switch have to wait till December 1st. But at the same time, this trilogy's been out, for years, like on Xbox and PlayStation. So unless all you have is a Switch, you probably played this trilogy already, or at least one of the games in the trilogy.
or at least a few minutes of it, like myself.
Yeah. So, but hey, if you never got a chance to play it, and you do have a Switch, it's still coming out December 1st. So maybe, the month of December, whether you get Christmas money or if you can get it as a gift from your parents if you don't have a job, that's a possibility.
And I can understand if I'm going to push it to December for the sake of like Christmas and all, and to make sure that it's still properly formatted to the Switch properly, so there wouldn't be any bugs, glitches, frame rate drops, because Switch has a maximum capacity on like 30 frames per second on most of their games that they have on the Switch. So, and obviously the processor speed is not as great as like that of the newest computers that came out as of late. So, especially in comparison from like 2017 to now, So.
Right. So, ready to move on?
Yeah, I'm ready.
All right, next. Forza Motorsport, Like a Dragon Ishin, racing to Xbox Game Pass. October's first batch of Game Pass titles aren't necessarily spooky, but they're no less exciting. The long-awaited Forza Motorsport leads the pack as it crosses the finish line to release next week. Like a Dragon Ishin, the historical drama and remake of the formerly Japan exclusive Like a Dragon spin-off, is also on the way. Check out the list of what's joining and what's exiting the library, as well as links to our reviews of applicable titles. I don't think I actually have a list or an article for what's actually leaving. Oh yeah, I do. It's a few topics down, so we'll just talk about the games coming. Warhammer 40,000 Darktide is coming. Is already on the service. Came on the 4th through Xbox Series and the cloud. Forza Motorsport will be arriving on the 10th through Xbox Series, PC, and the cloud. From Space will be coming to console, PC, and cloud on the 12th. And Like a Dragon Ishin is coming to console, PC, and cloud on the 17th. Are you interested in any of these games?
If I recall correctly, Like a Dragon, is that similar to the Yakuza games that have been coming out for the last 15, 20 years now?
Let me see. It came out this past February.
Right, of course.
Yeah, it's a remake of Like a Dragon Ishin is not a new game. It's a remake of an old game. 2014's Ru Ga Gotoku Ishin, released only in Japan on the PS3 and PS4.
Oh, okay. So it's not for
No, this is the first time it's being released in America.
Okay, so it's nothing like that of Yakuza games that coming out on the PS2 and all. Okay, that's good. It's very confusing at first because, me personally, I've heard of Yakuza games before. I have Sleeping Dogs. That's kind of like the equivalency of the Streets of New York game for the 2000s video games on the PS2 and all. There's like a sequel of sorts of that with Los Angeles. Stakes of the matter. It's long story short. I also have, at one point with Game Pass, Yakuza 0, Yakuza Kimawi, Yakuza 3, 4, and 5. Unfortunately, I only played Yakuza 0, Yakuza Kim on Wii for about a few minutes at a time. It didn't catch my eye at first. I have to still play more of it until I get the Game Pass again. It's worth it to have all those games on the Game Pass, so that's good. They still have it at last time I checked. So now, as far as like a Dragon is concerned, that I'm willing to try out for as either a demo at first, but I'm willing to pay 40, 50, 60 bucks for the game to see how it is. Especially
if you're talking about the game I played, Yakuza Like a Dragon, I found loose copies online for like $10, $15.
Okay.
But that game came out in 2020, so it's 3 years old. But again, it is a very long game, and like once you get to Chapter 7, you will have to level grind. So it's not a short game by any means.
Yeah, especially like Yakuza and Sleeping Dogs. After all these years of owning Sleeping Dogs, I don't get a chance to beat the game yet. I still haven't acquired the Game Pass and all, so it's kind of not Game Pass, but the games with gold. But it amazes me that over the last 15 to 20 years, these street fighting, especially from that Japan settings, of games coming to the United States over the last 15, 20 years, got much better over the years too. So more power to Capcom, more power to whoever makes these games publicly to the United States, So
yeah, I kind of want to. I kind of got a bunch of games I want to get. Yakuza Like a Dragon's one of them to finish because I'm only like halfway through it when I stop playing on Game Pass. I kind of want to pick up another copy of WWE 2K14 because that's one wrestling game. It has all the guys from like the 80s and like the Attitude Era, and that's one game I had all the DLC for, so I want to get another copy of that, so I wouldn't be after No Mercy. So, but then again, like I said, between bills and having to save money because taxes, I'm going to have to pay taxes when the end of the year comes, or beginning of next year when I do taxes.
Yes.
It's made me more conservative with my money, basically.
Yeah, tax year is the best time for like individual games like you and I, because we get like how much money back from the government, whether it's how much, as much as little as like what, $50, if not up to like $200. For me, I got like 1 year back in 2008, if I recall correctly, got like a tax back about $400, and at least $400 in refunds, tax refunds. So you never know what's going to be like, as you get older.
The thing is, my job that I work at currently, they do it called 1099, where you don't get taxes taken out of your check. You get your full check, but when you do taxes, you're going to have to pay those taxes that didn't get taken out all at once.
Yeah, I'd rather just be raped right away than be raped later by taxes,
Yeah, but hey, if you're working for someone, you don't really have that choice.
Of course, yes.
They want to sign you a certain way, they'll sign you a certain way, or you could go somewhere else for a job.
No taxpayer, not now, not now. We. Ah.
But anyway, back to the topic.
I'm sorry, guys. The taxpayer can be a big guy in advance.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the most I've ever made back was like $900 in 1 year.
Okay.
But that was when I was working, I think, full time. So.
Yes, I understand.
Oh, was it? Yeah, full time because I was working in Sloman's. So. Yeah.
Shield your home, Sloman Shields.
Well, I didn't get it from Sloman's. It's just 1 year. I was working my full-time job. Sloman's was after that job because Sloman's would only hire me part-time. And then the third manager in the telemarketing division didn't like me, so that meant my job was limited.
Understood.
But anyway, speak back to the point. Yeah, so, I mean, none of these games really interest me. Even the Like a Dragon Ishin game, it's if I had Game Pass, I'd check it out maybe.
Yeah.
But it's just none of these games really make me like, damn, I wish I had Game Pass still. Or
yeah, well, because of Forza Motorsport, the one that's coming out this year, I currently have Forza Motorsport 5, Forza Motorsport 7 demo. Those games I grew up on, obviously, because I heard Forza Motorsport. Oh yes, 2010 2010, 2011, or 12, give or take. So I was an adult by then. But those games, I've always wanted to play those racing games every now and then, just to take a break from FPS gaming. So it's like, it's a good break from it all. Yakuza, of course, and the Like a Dragon, Ishin, it's lots of violence and gore. So it's like, you're in for a good, like, action-packed, experience in those games right here. So I can't wait to get my hand copies of these Yakuza games, or the not only Yakuza games, but also Like a Dragon, Ishin. So
yeah. So if you like these games, they're coming. Ready to move on?
Yeah, let's move on.
All right, next. PlayStation Plus and Game Pass worth it in 2023? At what point does a subscription service stop being worth its monthly fee? X Games with Gold. It's no secret the price of PlayStation Plus has risen substantially. Just this past month, all three of the subscription service tiers saw a 30% cost increase, with the highest tier now costing $160 every year. But Sony isn't the only company raising rates. Earlier this year, Microsoft increased the cost of its Game Pass membership, raising its $10 monthly subscription to $11 and its $15 tier to $17. We live in a world where there are an abundance of subscription services in both the gaming space and layout. And while many of these services have offered valuable benefits and features, that may not be the case now. Dr. Games 101 will probably have a lot to say about this.
Oh, yeah.
More specifically, what you're getting may not be what you're paying for. So it's time for us to ask, are subscription services worth it? And if so, which ones offer the greatest value? On this episode of Spot On, Lucy and Timur ask themselves that question and discuss whether the value proposition is still there for the various gaming subscription services. I didn't know this was going to be a video. Spot On is a weekly news show airing Fridays in which GameSpot's managing editor Timur Hussein and senior producer Lucy James talk about the latest news in games. That's our shtick. Given the highly dynamic and never-ending news cycle of the massive video game industry, there's always something to talk about. But unlike most other news shows, Spot On will dive deep into a single topic as opposed to recapping all the news. Spot On airs each Friday. How long was this episode of Spot On? Let me see. We're probably not going to watch it. I just want to know how long this topic is.
It's going to be at least like 15 minutes long.
I mean, we'll probably have to just give our feelings on Game Pass.
Yeah.
It's a 10-minute video.
I knew it had to be at least 10 minutes, 15 minutes.
Hold on. So, do you want to play the video or no?
No, we'll wait until next week. We'll get a better review of the matter, if you like.
Okay. Yeah. So, I mean, we'll just give you our opinion. It's really Game Pass being so much. I think it's honest. It's honestly, I've been feeling like once the games become affordable, whether they're like $5, $10, $15, it's more affordable to pay that price one time and get the game than it is to keep paying that service monthly. So I don't think it's worth it. Dr. Games 101, do you feel the same way or differently?
Personally, myself, I never wanted to spend money a lot after buying the game itself, especially because it's to online playability, meaning that if I paid $500, $600 for the console, about $300, $200 for the accessories, $200 worth of games, and then I had to buy the internet connection through my ISP and all. That's about an easy $1,000 right there, easily. And I expect to be playing it online at least that for free. But the Game Pass personally is something where it's an outlet to where you can save some kind of money over the next several years, depending on how much you play of these games in the library. Personally, myself, I never focused in too much on the Game Pass since I got the Game Pass back in 2017, 2018. And up until now, this year, of September, the only time I played any Game Pass games with Yakuza, Zero, Crash Bandicoot, maybe, if it ever was on the Game Pass, that is. There's also other independent games that came out for it too on the Game Pass as well to get it for free. So it's kind of like, after a while, I was like, do you really have the time in the world to play all these games within a year, 2 years lifespan of your time with your money that you have? So I guess you say, in other words, it's good for younger gamers to have the Game Pass. For us older gamers, I think we should just buy our games full price per game, or get discounted through our member pass or gold membership pass, which we do get. As a gold member, you get like discounts on certain games every month, depending upon what's on your wish list, especially. And those are the ones that really help out a lot. Add to your wish list, and then it'll be on sale through your Xbox guide button as a notification. So that helps out a lot. Since I don't have gold and as well as Game Pass, it's whatever on my part, because I focus too much on certain couple of games like Devil May Cry 5, Apex Legends, Crash Bandicoot Trilogy, the Reignition Trilogy that's called, and so on and so forth. So it's kind of like, I'm willing to buy my games rather than just get a subscription on demand. So because when I buy a full price game or a discounted game, I own that game by default, no matter what the company says. Yes, they have their terms of service tell you that, you don't really own the game if you buy it digitally, whatever. But I think by law, our consumer laws here in the United States, we have a right to own our own games and we pay for it in full. If it's rented, it's one thing, like Game Pass, whatever. That I can understand. So more kudos to the company like that with those policies. But if you bought it with your full-fledged money that you earned, especially if you earned it at like a full-time job, or you got tax bracket, back taxes on it, whatever it's called, shit like that. So I don't know what to say about these companies these days, because if it wasn't for Microsoft started that monthly membership of like Xbox Gold to play online, I don't think we wouldn't be having this problem to this day about what's to play online or not. But when it comes out to Game Pass themselves, it's like another class of itself, another format of how to play the games yourself. So it's iffy, I have to say, to what's good or bad in the Game Pass to spend money every month and every year for. So that's my opinion on that.
But forget affordability. Is it worth what you get? In your opinion, is it worth what you're getting every month to pay for the service every month rather than just buy the games?
I'd rather just buy the games by themselves, not thinking to pay for the Game Pass. I will admit that.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. Game Pass is good to try out. Like, if you don't know any games that are coming out and you want to play, different games to see if you'll like it at first, maybe Game Pass is good to have for a month or 2 or 3 or whatever. But I mean, like I said, if you're just playing the same few games over and over, and especially if they're a few years old already, you'd probably save more money in the long run if you just bought the games, especially off eBay or something.
Definitely, if it's a physical game, especially.
Yeah, like I said, Yakuza Like a Dragon I've seen it go for $10 disc only. So it's like, why would I continue to pay $15 or $17 every month to Game Pass to play that game?
Especially if you're an older gamer, because the older you are, the more like you have less time to play games on a constant basis. For example, if I was like 16 years old and my PS2 was an online service, so they get an Xbox One, a PS4, and all, I would rather get the Game Pass for that PS2 than such thing back then, because I could play as much as I want, anytime I want, and within like not even 6 months, I spent like 6 months with a Game Pass. That's about what? Not even $150-$200 in games. I guess I spent it in more than that amount if I get as an old adult gamer.
Now it's $100. Now, not counting tax, 6 months of Game Pass would be, if you paid $17 a month, that's like $102 every 6 months.
Yep.
Tax.
Oh yeah.
So and then add another $1, I guess, every month in terms of tax.
And that's just 6
months.
No,
not $1, but maybe like 50 cents every month. So just for me, it really depends what you're doing with Game Pass. It's really not worth it if, to play the games I was playing. I could buy Bejeweled 3 digitally. I could buy like I said, I could buy Yakuza Like a Dragon. I could buy, a lot of the game. I could buy Doom. If I don't want to get it for Xbox One, I can get the BFG edition of Doom 3, which had all 3 Dooms all at once. So it's kind of like the games that I was playing. They're not that expensive to buy, especially since they're old.
Yeah.
So I don't, unless, and also, I know it's, so just looking at the price, it's really not worth it, because how many games are there that, A, are released on day one, that you would have to pay $60, $70 for, that are worth playing?
Yeah. How even Gears 5?
Look at what Microsoft was banking on with Starfield and Redfall. Need I say more?
Oh yeah. And Gears 5, don't get me wrong, it's still good to play, but after a certain part of the game itself, you get bored of it, and the character Kate is not the main character you're looking at the most, because you thought JD was supposed to be the new generation of Gears 1 characters to look at, but it's like, you're stuck in between a stasis where it's like, why do I have to continue to spend a Game Pass for Gears 5 or even buy a full Ultimate Edition of it for $100 or whatever? I'll just play it for about a few hours and that's about it. Call it quits, That's it.
Well, you don't even have to do that. You just have to, you could just buy this cheaper service just to get online capabilities, which is like $11 a month. Because the Gears games are really about the multiplayer. The campaign may be interesting to go through enough once, but after that, Gears games have their replayability and the multiplayer online. That's what draws me back to Gears of War.
Oh yeah, definitely. I will admit that too. That is too. For me, it was the campaign itself I wanted to continue playing on, because I want to know more about the story of the origins of the locusts, the swarms, and stuff like that. But they draw it out too much in the ice levels, the snow levels and stuff like that. It was like, what the fuck, man? What am I doing there right now? So I gave up on that game.
Okay, well, it's not. It really doesn't. It's really more about the human interactions. It really doesn't go into a story of what the swarm is and everything. But like I said, I have to admit, it's really the only story that really stuck out to me in Gears of War was Gears of War Judgment, because you could actually dictate how the story goes. Like if you felt the game was too easy, just activate the declassified missions, and that would raise the challenge of the current mission you were on.
Yeah.
That was awesome. And just how the story was told, because while you're playing through the mission, the characters that you control were actually on trial with their colonel as the judge. So it kept switching between the missions, and the cutscenes would be the trial. So it was. So I guess I just like how Gears of War Judgment told the story.
I will admit that. Yeah, that was good.
But like I said, after I finished the Gears of War 4 campaign, I never went back to it. I just wanted to do the multiplayer. Yeah. But the multiplayer is fun. I could spend an hour or two playing multiplayer. So
yeah, they made in Gears 5 when they had the promos during the Xbox conferences back in 2014, 2015, 2016, give or take. They make Kate look like a fucking bitch. I'm sorry if I sound very direct and vulgar and disrespectful in that matter, but it's just that they made it look like it's not a Gears game. It just made it look like it's like a girls' night out for the girls only type of game, Because when you think of Gears of War, you think of violence, gore, war, aggression, the struggles, the heartbreaks, the headaches, the pain, the suffering. Then when you see Kate, you're like, oh God, what's wrong with this game?
Okay, I only was in, like I said, I kept getting kicked out back to the Xbox dashboard when I tried to play the Gears 5 campaign, so I can't comment.
Well, it was a promos, those trailers and stuff like that. Yeah, you had to watch the Xbox conferences back on the Xbox One and YouTube and all, because every year since 2010 they actually had the Xbox conference of E3 and all, and before E3 got shut down or E3 was irrelevant at the time. So,
All right. So anyway, ready to move on?
Yeah, I'm ready to move on.
All right. Next, Xbox credit card is available now. Free Game Pass, bonuses, points, fees, and everything else you need to know. The Xbox with MasterCard with Barclays is now available in the United States, but is it the card for you? The Xbox credit card, which was announced in September, is now available to a select set of users in the United States. It's the first Xbox credit card, and there are quite a few particulars you might want to know about before applying for it. We're rounding up all the key details on the Xbox credit card, and here to help you decide if it's a worthwhile investment. Bear in mind, this is a brand new card, so there are not yet any user reviews. And as usual, with any type of financial decision, it's important to do your research and carefully consider your options. What is the Xbox MasterCard? It's a credit card created by Microsoft in partnership with Barclays, the bank that also backs JetBlue's popular credit card. The Xbox MasterCard allows cardholders to make purchases on whatever they want, with Barclays providing the funds up front and the user paying their statement each month to avoid interest charges, late fees, and other expenses. The card also comes with a variety of bonuses and perks for spending, which we'll dig into. How can I apply? The Xbox MasterCard is available in the U.S. only, and as of right now, only the Xbox Insiders are eligible. The Xbox Insider program is free and open to everyone. In addition to perks like being the first to get an Xbox MasterCard, it also lets you test Xbox updates before everyone else, among other perks. To get started, first join the Xbox Insider program, sign in with your account details on the Xbox MasterCard website, and then complete the application at Barclays website. If you're accepted, you'll receive a card and can start shopping and accumulating points. Xbox Insiders can visit the preview tab of the Xbox Insider Hub, and if you've been invited, you will see Xbox MasterCard listed as an option. Microsoft says the Xbox MasterCard is rolling out in waves, so if you're not invited right away, keep checking back. The card will become available to the general public in 2024. What is the point system? Like other credit cards, the Xbox MasterCard allows you to earn card points on their purchases. The categories for the Xbox MasterCard are naturally themed around gaming and entertainment. Here's a rundown of the point system. 5 times the points on purchases from the Microsoft Store. 3 times the points on streaming services like Netflix and Disney+. 3 times points on dining delivery services like DoorDash and Grubhub. 1 times the points on everyday purchases. There are some noteworthy exceptions here. The 5 times points offer covers games sold on the Microsoft Store for Xbox and PC, as well as the Xbox Design Lab. But it does not cover in-game purchases like virtual currency, nor does the 5 times point bonus apply to the Xbox Gear Shop, the official Bethesda Gear store on third-party retailers. For streaming and dining services, most of the big ones are accounted for, but it's not an exhaustive list of literally every streaming and dining service out there. Microsoft says the value of 5,000 points is about $50, which means every point is worth about 1 cent. Here's a rundown of the eligible streaming and dining services. First, video streaming services. Amazon Prime Video, Apple TV, Crunchyroll, Discovery Plus, Disney Plus, ESPN Plus, Fubo TV, Hulu and Live TV, Netflix, Paramount Plus, Peacock, Philo, Showtime, Sling TV, Stars, Vudu, Willow TV, Wow Presents Plus, YouTube Premium, and YouTube TV. Now, music streaming services. Amazon Music Unlimited, Apple Music, iHeartRadio, Pandora, Qbuzz, SiriusXM, SoundCloud, Spotify, Tidal, and YouTube Music. Audiobooks and book streaming services. Audible, Kindle, and Kobo. Dining delivery services. Caviar, Chow Now, Delivery.com, DoorDash, Goldbelly, Grubhub, OrderUp, Postmates, Seamless, and Uber Eats. What can I redeem points on? Xbox MasterCard points can be redeemed to purchase games and add-ons through Xbox.com. These are not direct purchases, however, as the point redemption comes in the form of a credit on your next billing statement. Also of note is that Xbox MasterCard points and any balance of rewards points you might have are not combinable. However, cardholders will continue to earn Microsoft Rewards points and Xbox MasterCard points when they use the Xbox MasterCard on eligible purchases. Free Game Pass. Another pretty nice perk of the MasterCard is that it comes with 3 months of Game Pass Ultimate for new subscribers. You will receive the bonus after your first purchase. Existing Game Pass Ultimate members are not eligible, but they still get the bonus they can then give to a friend. Game Pass Core members are eligible, however. This includes anyone who was an Xbox Live Gold member before that subscription was converted to Game Pass Core in September. Other perks. After your first purchase with the Xbox MasterCard, you will receive a bonus of 5,000 card points, worth about $50, and the aforementioned free Game Pass Ultimate code. Additionally, your physical Xbox MasterCard can be customized with one of 5 designs featuring the iconic Xbox logo and assortment of different colors. The card supports contactless payments and can be loaded onto your smartphone. The Xbox MasterCard also promises fraud liability protection and the ability to check your FICO score for no fee or impact your score. Annual fee, APR, and other fees. The Xbox MasterCard has no annual fee. The annual percentage rate is 20.99, 26.99%, or 31.99%, depending on your credit history. Guys, if you get this card, pay it off in full every month. The same rates are in place for balance transfers, while the APR for cash advances is 32.4% with the Xbox MasterCard. Cardholders can avoid paying interest on purchases by paying their statement balances in full on time. The Xbox MasterCard, the due date is at least 23 days after the close of each billing cycle. For balance transfers, members will pay $10 or 5% of the transfer, whichever is greater. For a cash advance, the fee is $10 or 5% for the amount, whichever is greater. Another key thing to know is that the Xbox MasterCard has a 3% fee for foreign transactions. The late and return payment fees are $41, though the amount varies by state. The fine print. Any decision about banking and finance is worth taking necessary time and effort to thoughtfully and carefully consider. Although Xbox MasterCard is brand new, the wealth of information that can be found online and with in-person financial experts can help you make a decision on whether or not this card is a worthwhile investment for you. You may also want to consider reading over the entire fine print and terms and conditions from Barclays to make sure you know what you're getting into. So, Dr. Games 101, what do you think of this card and all the terms?
Well, I'm very surprised that this
Basically,
Xbox... I want to say that this story. I'm very surprised that the Xbox credit card is not geared toward or connected to your credit score or your credit history as much, which is kind of a good thing at first, right? A good perk or a good itch to get the card itself by itself for that reason. But personally, myself, I got so many credit cards I took out over the years. I thought I paid off about 3, if not 4 credit cards so far over the last 5 years now. And I just don't want to take out any more credit cards right now, even if it is not tied into my credit score. Personally, myself, if I want to get the Xbox Series X and S, I'd rather wait until I get, win the lottery or something at this rate right now in my life. Because now I owe student loans as of late. And of course, I applied for the deferment for next year, whatever, for me as being a low-income earner, as a low-income worker and all, or a low-income citizen. So that's good on my part that I can pay off little by little on my own time, on my own accord. Other than that, the credit card of Xbox is that's good for those who just started out working in a workplace, who are 19, 18 years old, and they finally got their first full-time job and all, but they don't want to spend the money on Xbox right away on their own cash and want to build their credit somehow, some way. So think of it as if I was 18 again, if I had 20 years when I first bought my Xbox 360 and had the Xbox card, I would definitely buy the card before buying the Xbox 360 and use that credit card for the 360 for the Halo 3 edition especially. So if it did this back 15 years ago, it would be a different story. And hell, even 10 years ago when the Xbox One came out, it's 10 years this year since the Xbox One came out. They buy next month, whatever. So, yeah, man. More power to the Xbox brands for promoting this stuff. I'm not no financial advisor, but if I was the average gamer that just started out playing Xbox, whatever, go for the credit card. I would say. But if you're yeah,
go on.
I don't want to say that, but if you're an older gamer who's been around the block how many times with the Xbox brand, it's not a good time to buy it, especially if you have a bad credit score like I do. So,
Yeah, okay, but the thing is, I mean, it kind of is tied to your credit score because they said that your credit score is going to determine the interest rate you get. You
Okay.
just can check. You can check your credit score without impacting it because when you do check your credit score, it does go down.
Right, of course.
So it does. So it does impact your credit score at least somewhat. But and my computer's acting up, so I
I
don't
thought
know
that
if
was
it's
a
my
myth.
internet that's slowing down on my computer.
But Triple
Anyway,
J, hey, Triple J, I thought that the checking your credit score thing is a myth because you want to check your credit score as a right to know what your credit score is like for future purchases. So they can't just increase or decrease your credit score because you checked it every few weeks. You know.
as far as I know, checking this again, the rules might be different now than when I worked. But when I worked for Berkshire Financial Corp in 2006, we used to tell people that checking a credit score against one from one of three providers doesn't affect your score, but it does.
That sounds like a myth I've been hearing.
That when I worked, we used to tell people that it didn't affect their score when it did. So I don't think it's a myth. I think checking a credit score does affect it.
That's like in violation of consumer rights right there because you're telling people that they can't view their credit score because they're not sure how low or how high it is for to make future purchases. That right there is a violation of the right to be informed as a consumer, whether you're a gamer or not, you know?
Yeah, well, I'm not saying it drives it down. I'm just saying, it does affect it. But I mean, on the other hand, I mean, they also said your credit score is going to determine what interest rate you get. Oh my God, the ones over 30% interest. Oh my God.
That's how it is for the last at least a year now. 30%, 31%.
Yeah, but I mean, Jesus. I mean, if someone just pays the minimum amount, oh my God, they're going to get a big surprise when they open their bill just 1 month later of all the interest they have to pay.
Yeah, it took me 5 years, 6 years to pay off my PayPal account. And that was back in 2016. I opened up that account with like 25%, if not 22% interest. So it's like, APR, whatever it was.
Yeah, but I mean, I had my first Discover card, which put me in debt because I started paying off the minimum payment only when I was on unemployment. That was, I mean, it went from. I paid I had a $440 something bill in November, and I paid like $220 of it or $240 of it. In 3 months, I had like $1,000 balance because of because I didn't realize at the time my interest percentage rate was so high because it's the card I had since college. But this was the first time I wasn't paying it off in full every month.
Right. That's how it is with some of my credit card bills too. As of late, I currently own with Destiny and basically it's called Indigo. The Indigo credit lines they call them. It's different brands out there, and I owe about at least like $1,000 per account for 2 accounts. So it does get overabundant, overwhelming because if you're not paying it on time, That's what I hate about the credit cards to those who are still been out for years by paying for credit. You better just not hold up on the Xbox card for now, for the time being. That's how I look at it.
Yeah. So yeah, if you get these cards, oh my God, just make sure 26.99% is the cheapest interest rate they have. Make sure you just pay it off in full. That's all I'm saying. I might have to stop this for a minute because basically it's hard to get to the icons on my toolbar are not appearing like they should, so I might have to start. So is it possible if I might have to restart my computer actually. So is it cool if we take like a 10-minute break and we'll come back when I get this figured out?
Sure thing, guys. We'll take about a few minute break and I'll re-record again.
Oh wait! The icons just appeared. Okay.
So it's back to normal then?
Yeah, back. Let me see. Pull this up. Pull this up. Yep, I can continue.
Oh, good. That's just time.
Yeah, that's honest. Honestly, I was trying to do that. I was like, let's stretch this conversation out because I actually know a little bit about this. Hopefully, by the time we're done, I'll be back to normal, and it is. So, ready? So, do you have anything else to add, or ready to move on?
I want to say though that in these times, for the last several decades now, the credit card debt or the credit card overall debt in the country is about $1 trillion. So, the United States government has to find some way to give people more consumer protection rights. That way, they will get duped into new credit cards coming out every few months to a few years. Now, Microsoft, Xbox of their credit cards and all, they're not saying. I mean, we're not saying they're scams, of course. Just that, after a while, keep taking out more cards than the usual. You thought that you get a better credit score if you paid them on time, but there are times where there's errors when making payments. Because that's what I went through for the last 2 months with my companies like Giddy's and Swiss Colony, which is different from obviously from the electronics and stuff like that. But still, you never know. It's best to screenshot your payments, screenshot your confirmation codes when paying them off, because they can take advantage of you like that if you don't keep track of your own records. So just keep that in mind, guys. I'm ready to move on.
Yeah, I mean, and the thing is, if you're like 18, 19, like I was when I got my first credit card, which was Discover card, you're probably not gonna pay attention to the interest rate that you are signed up to, because it's probably gonna be like something like 20%. So I just wanted to fall out of my chair when I saw that this could include a 32 or 34% interest rate on unpaid purchases.
I said 29% last time I checked. I was like, God damn.
I think like the lowest is 26%, and that's still higher than my first credit card from Discover. So it's not. I'm not getting it. I would never get a card that high with that high interest again, even with the perks.
Okay.
Anything else to add, or ready to move on?
That'll be all for today. That'll be all for today for the class of business mathematics that I was in. I attended business mathematics classes in Nassau Community College for a semester, and let me tell you something. That's a lot of numbers right there to keep track of.
Yeah. Anyway, time to move on.
Yes, move on, please. I'm dying of numbers from numbers.
Well, here's some more numbers. Xbox Game Pass losing these 6 games in October.
Oh.
More games are on the way to Xbox Game Pass in October, but as usual, you can expect a few other games to face the axe so that some digital room can be made for the new rivals. Microsoft usually delivers the bad news alongside the good news of fresh additions to the Game Pass library and a dedicated post, but it looks like the Xbox app beat the blog post to the punch this month. This month, you can say goodbye to Samurai Adventure Trek to Yomi, as well as the Legends of Tianding, Shenzhen, I.O., Overwhelmed, Evil, and Turnip Boy Commits Tax Evasion. You'll have until October 15th to try these games out, and like in previous months, there'll be 2 waves of removals to expect. If you like to keep playing them, you can buy them at a 20% discount rate as part of a perk that's included with Game Pass subscriptions. So again, Trek to Yomi is leaving Cloud Console and PC. So is The Legend of Tianding. Shenzhen, I/O, is leaving PC, just like Overwhelmed. Then leaving Console, Cloud, and PC is Evil, and Turnip Boy Commits Tax Evasion. September was a pretty great month for Game Pass as Liza P, Starfield, Party Animals, Payday 3, and Cocoon were added to the service. This month, Gotham Knights, The Lamplighters League, and Forza Motorsport kick off the October lineup. Later this year, fans of the Like a Dragon series will have plenty to look forward to, as Like a Dragon Gaiden, The Man Who Erased His Name, will be a Day 1 release on November 9th. Like a Dragon Ishin will be added at a later date, and other confirmed Day 1 releases include Minako's Night Market on October 26th, Persona 5 Tactica on November 17th, and Persona 3 Reload on February 2nd, 2024. Microsoft also launched Game Pass Core in September, a budget-friendly version of Game Pass that offers a smaller library of games for $10 a month. So, are you going to miss any of these 6 games?
I think I didn't hit the 6 games, but it sounds like it's not that interesting at the same time.
Well, these are, again, I'm not reading what service they left, but I'll read the 6 games again that are leaving.
Right.
Trek to Yomi, The Legend of Tianding, Shenzhen I/O, Overwhelm, Evil, and Turnip Boy Commits Tax Evasion.
Tax evasion? What the hell? Yeah, I didn't hear any of that shit. I think I didn't hear it at first. I'm like, yeah, that's like tax evasion, Shenzhen. These games I never heard of before in my life. And I'm like, where have I been there for the last how many years now with these games, you know? Well, on a serious note, I'm not going to miss them at this rate. So, sorry, guys. These games are not meant for me.
I thought we were going to have Unicorn Overlord 2.0 this again. I heard about Trek to Yomi. I never really was interested in trying it out though.
Okay.
And the rest of the games I've never. Some of them, most of them, I didn't even hear about. The only other one that I really heard about was Turnip Boy Commits Tax Evasion, and I didn't check that one out. I had no interest in doing so. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, I really don't care about any of the games leaving this time around.
Okay.
Ready to move on?
Yeah, I'm ready.
All right, next. Sony adding... no, that's later. Got to change it. Nintendo 3DS and Wii U online functionality ending next April. Earlier this year, Nintendo ended eShop functionality for the Nintendo 3DS and Wii U, marking the beginning of the end for these devices. Now, Nintendo has announced that online play and other device functionality that requires online communication is coming to an end too. More specifically, Nintendo says online services for these devices will end in April 2024. In early April 2024, online play and other functionality that uses online communication will end for 3DS and Wii U software, Nintendo's announcement reads. This also includes cooperative play, internet rankings, and data distribution. Nintendo says it will announce a specific end date and time at a later date, and that it reserves the right to discontinue these online services earlier if an event occurs that would make it difficult to continue online services for the 3DS and Wii U. It also announced that this includes software exclusive to the new Nintendo 3DS. The company then answers a number of questions in the FAQ section of the announcement. It notes that Pokemon Bank will still be usable following April 2024, and that for the foreseeable future it will still be possible to download, update data, and re-download purchased software and downloadable content from Nintendo eShop. The fan-favorite 3DS feature Street Pass will fortunately still work as it uses local communication between devices, but Spot Pass, which uses online communication instead, will no longer be available after April 2024. What's your favorite online memory of the Wii U or 3DS? I'll go first. For me, it was playing Mario Kart 8 online on Wii U.
I see. Okay.
But then my Wii U had problems connecting to Wi-Fi, so that ended. But that was definitely my favorite online experience memory. I don't think you would have one.
I did play one of the Mario Karts on the Wii U. It was mostly the Wii, actually, back in 2012. So it was Mario Kart either 7 or Mario Kart 6. I'm not sure the exact one. But it was a good experience that I had when I was in the hospital at the time. Because when I was in the hospital, the most horrible thing to stay in the hospital for is like to be bored most of the time. So especially even in long-term care, they'll have like these programs and other activities throughout the day for you to do. And one of them is video gaming on the family consoles like the Wii, Xbox, Kinect, and such. So it was a good experience to go through those type of games and those systems. Myself, if I had a 3DS again, not again, but if I had a 3DS for the very first time, I will try to get the Mercenaries for the Resident Evil game that's on the 3DS. I mean, I heard it wasn't all that bad. It wasn't all that good at first, but it's still not bad for me to play. If it's just like the Resident Evil 4 or Resident Evil 5 Mercenaries, especially Resident Evil 5 Mercenaries, I wouldn't mind having them on the 3DS to play. You know?
Alright. Yeah, it sucks, but unfortunately, that's what that's unfortunately what console developers do. They discontinue older consoles' online functionality when the new system comes out or when the new system's been out. I mean, we're almost up to the successor of the Switch. We don't know what it'll be called, but Nintendo said that's coming. So obviously, 3DS and Wii U being discontinued, very few people are probably still playing it online, if at all. But yeah, if you are still playing it because you didn't want to buy Mario Kart 8 the second time, you can play it online till April. It's gonna suck when that ends. I don't have Mario Kart 8 at the moment. I'll probably still get it because, like I said, it'll still take time to unlock everything that was put in the game the old-fashioned way. Winning circuits and stuff, and then you could still have the computer. You could still set up team battles against the computer and stuff. So it's not like you won't have stuff to do. But it just sucks that they have to kill the online part. But then again, if many people aren't using it, I don't blame them to cut costs. But
So yeah.
So I mean, it just sucks. Because I really enjoy playing Mario Kart 8 online. So if you play Mario Kart Wii or Mario Kart 8 online on the Wii U, you know what I'm talking about. It's probably the same on the Switch. I just heard the Switch had everything unlocked from the start except for DLC that was coming later on. Ready to move on?
Yeah, ready to move on.
All right, this next one is not an article. It's the trailer you sent me for Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3. So I'm going to play the trailer, and then I'll let you say what you have to say about it.
Yeah, got me hyped up for that stuff.
All right, full screen.
So I know you like Eminem the most as a rapper back before he went against Trump and all. So
screen. Yeah. So let me just do this. Okay, it's volume. Gonna start over. Let's not glitch out when I hit full screen again. Thank you.
November 10th. Man, it's another month from now.
Huh?
It's November 10th. It's another month from now. Time flies.
Yep. So since you had me play the trailer, since this was your suggestion, say what you have to say about it.
So now I know that I'm not a huge Call of Duty fan overall. I know I'm like at least 8 years too late after start playing in 2016, and I'm still a newer Call of Duty gamer. So to me, that when I saw this trailer for the first time, I was like hyped up, amped up. Eminem's rapping and shit like that from like the 2000s raps and all. I was like, wow, that's like the way they portrayed the gun shooting with Eminem's rapping. It was so cool. It was like it felt like you were going to go to war yourself sometimes, you know. So this is
be
my.
careful what you say about that.
Well, I know that you were not used to be a big Eminem fan before he went against Trump many years ago and stuff like that. It's
No. I meant about going to war yourself.
What's that?
I meant about going to war yourself, saying stuff like that.
But you know what I mean? Like Call of Duty is like a simulation. It's like to desensitize you from warfare itself somehow, some way. If you ever have to be in battle. Now, mentally speaking, I'm not able to, go out there and fucking just do whatever I want to do out there, obviously, like that. I'm just saying the fact that, like, if you want to bring the best soldiers in, you actually have to desensitize them from, like, not having conscience and killing other people and stuff like that. But the way Call of Duty has been like for the last several years now, every year for how many years, it really did. They keep making it better and better in its presentation of the matter. I know that war is heinous, it's criminal, it's violent, it's gore, it's a struggle. I don't know everything about the war. I'm not trying to say I want to start wars, whatever. Obviously, I do act like at times of feeling that way too. But it's like and these games kind of amped you up for that kind of gameplay, in the Call of Duty franchise. So I have to say it was very good. The reveal trailer of multiplayer. Personally, myself, I would not buy Modern Warfare 3 right away. So it's kind of like it's a disappointment on my part. Like, hey, Dr. Games, you say you want to get Call of Duty right away, whatever. Yeah, but I don't have the money like I used to. When I spent money on the Modern Warfare 2 2022 last year, I kind of screwed up my credit card payments last year during that time. So that was my fault. I want to do that again for this year. So maybe next year was on sale. Hopefully there's something going on with like a 20% off, 25% off sale next year. Something of that sort. There's always something going on with the Call of Duty games on sale and such. So that's all I want to say, guys, is that, have fun. But if you have the money for it, go for it. But for Modern Warfare 3 2023, personally myself, I haven't got just to beat Modern Warfare 2 2022's campaign. So, unfortunately, there's no Russian yet. I don't see in that game of Modern Warfare 2, obviously. That's at the end of the game, most likely. But other than that, that's all I have to say for the matter of Triple J.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I'm not in a big Call of Duty fan like I was in the original Modern Warfare 2 first Black Ops days. But so this is not something I'm going to be wanting out to get to play multiplayer or even the single player campaign. Depends how cheap the games get, like a few years from now, maybe. But right now, yeah, this is not something I'm looking forward to, just because I'm not a big Call of Duty multiplayer guy. Like I said, Call of Duty or Gears of War, I was always a Gears guy. Ready to move on?
And I just want to mention too that sometimes people see my tweets and I act out my tweets, whatever. Well, let's just guys know that that's Twitter. Like, that's just like my perspective, what I see on warfare is like, whether it's true or not, whether it's fake, whatever. It's just the fact that warfare can be heinous sometimes, and that's how it is in these Call of Duty games. Like, it shows you a representation of what warfare can be like in today's world. So just let you guys know that this is not just some typical way of like acting gangster or whatever you think I'm thinking online or whatever. So just put it out there. That's all. All
right. Yeah. So ready to move on?
Yeah, I'm ready.
All right. We only got 3 stories left right now. Sony adding free movies to most expensive versions of PlayStation Plus. Sony Pictures Core will also give PlayStation Plus Premium and Deluxe members early access to films like Gran Turismo. Today, Sony announced a new app coming to PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5 consoles that will offer PlayStation Plus Premium and Deluxe members access to a launch of Sony Pictures Entertainment films. Sony Pictures Core, a rebrand of Sony's streaming service, Bravia Core, will let PlayStation users purchase or rent up to 2,000 Sony films straight from your console. The offerings include big-name titles like Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, Uncharted, Bullet Train, and Ghostbusters Afterlife. You can download the Sony Pictures Corp in the media section of the PlayStation Store on your console, and depending on your PlayStation Plus subscription tier, a select assortment of those may be available to you for free. Hold on. According to the PlayStation blog post, PlayStation Premium and Deluxe subscribers will receive the added bonus of an ad-free curated list of 100 films like Kingsglaive, Final Fantasy 15, and Resident Evil Damnation, which will be updated periodically to stream as part of your membership. Sony also announced that Sony Pictures Core will have an early access window where folks can purchase films like Gran Turismo, the app's first exclusive movie, before they become available on any other on-demand home video service. Toward the end of the blog post, Sony teased additional benefits to come for PlayStation members in the future, saying, "We hope you enjoy Sony Pictures Core and all the films that will be accessible through the app. It's part of our shared goal with Sony Pictures Entertainment to bring together this curated collection of wonderful films to elevate the PlayStation experience. This is just the beginning, and we plan to evolve the offerings and benefits of Sony Pictures Core over time, including a selection of hit anime content from Crunchyroll. We're looking forward to more exciting things to come, so stay tuned." The app is available today. Bravia Core will officially rebrand as Sony Pictures Core next year. Does this make you want to get a PlayStation any more or less?
Well, I can't really say much about the free movies being a good 100% thing, because people, like, you already convince people to pay monthly for a service that supposed to already have those from the start, from the matter. Because as an example, I know this may not be video game per se, but Amazon Prime Video, you can still watch free videos that are part of the Prime subscription. Not all movies are Prime subscription, but a good portion of the library is Prime. So if they did this before from the start, it'd be a different story. But they never did this until recently. So it's kind of like you're already too late on the matter. But other than that, newcoming users of Sony products, why not? You can do that, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I figured since you said you're like a big fan of anime, you would, this would be something that you would like.
Well, I'd rather watch anime on my own accord through the 7 C's, they call it. I don't want to mention the P word, obviously, but you know what I mean. It's not that hard to find what you want to find on the internet these days. So try to spend $10, $15 a month on Crunchyroll just to watch Naruto or to watch Bleach. I mean, I might as well buy the full set for $150 on eBay. It was still out there to this day. I used to spend $250 per series on Bleach. Spent $250 for the whole entire Bleach series before the Soul Society had the second coming of the sequel of itself. So it's long story short, that's what I did back then. I bought $200 here, $150 here, $100 there, depending upon how big the series is, like Tenchi Muyo or Tenchi in Tokyo, Tenchi Ryo-Oki. Those 3 series by itself, those are the 3 main things I want to buy, because the Tenchi series, stuff like that. And that's each of them $40-$50 each, so it's worth it. But buying it through a subscription and all, it's kind of I don't know, man.
Okay. Well, anyway, if this is, this might entice, especially fans of anime or people who watch movies. Maybe this will entice you to get a PlayStation 5 or sign up for PlayStation service if you haven't already. Again, there are free movies out there. I mean, there's free movies on Xbox Live, although the selection is pretty nil. But they do update those even every week, so you don't have to buy a service. You don't have to pay for a service just to get movies. Whether or not the movies are new or old, that's a different story. Plenty of these movies seem newer than like what's offered on what's offered on Microsoft any given week. Ready to move on?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Alright. Next. Metal Gear Solid paid voice actor Jennifer Hale only $1,200. Hale, Naomi Hunter's voice actor, noted Konami's Smash Hit Spy adventure made millions in revenue. Voice actor Jennifer Hale needs little introduction, having a game fame playing characters like Metroid Prime's Samus Aran, Bastila Shan from Knights of the Old Republic, and of course Mass Effect's 1 True Commander Shepard. She's also known for Konami's Metal Gear Solid series, in which she played the shifty geneticist Naomi Hunter since the series' inception in 1998. In a recent podcast appearance, Hale revealed that her first Metal Gear Solid gig voicing that important character paid only $1,200. Previously, Hale avoided naming Metal Gear Solid directly in interviews, only saying in September that a game made $176 million and paid her an hourly wage that was way less than what I wanted it to be. But in this week's episode of the My Perfect Console podcast, currently available in early access, Hale responded quickly to host and critic Simon Parkin's questions as to what that $176 million game was. It was Metal Gear Solid. She agreed with Parkin that her original Metal Gear Solid pay, $1,200, is a grotesque disparity with the $176 million, saying it's indicative of what's happening in modern culture. For every dollar that the work a great person makes, and voice actors are workaday people, all actors on camera, voiceover, who are not celebrities, are workaday people. We make $1 for every $399 executives make. Still, I love Metal Gear. Hale said, "It was such a crazy departure from anything I'd done before. I loved it because it was brilliant and because it was just so unique, and it's dark and it's mysterious and intense, and I loved everything about it." Currently, Hale is one of many video game voice actors prepared to strike over what they tell Kotaku is an existential fight to make sure that they hang on to the rights to their own voices, their own images, because that is what they make their living with, as well as achieve wages that will keep up with inflation so that they continue to be professionals in this space economically. During the podcast appearance, Hale confirmed that this last point and said she wants voice actors to receive residuals for game work. Great, that's not going to make games more expensive. On a flexible structure that honors the indie developers, that honors the budgets and capacities of teams, I would like to see that. I would not. SAG after members authorized a video game strike with a 98% yeah vote on September 25th. Okay. What do you think of this Dr. Games 101?
Well, I mean, the Naomi character has been one of the revolutionary type of characters in Metal Gear Solid gaming, and I'm very surprised she only got $1,200 just from that one game alone. Is that one game alone? Or is it a series of games?
But keep in mind, this is 1998 money, not 2023 money.
Okay, all right then. Still, $1,200, kind of like it considered to be a lot for me when I just started working back when I was like in 2008. I got my as far as full-time work that is concerned in the furniture industry. I worked for Bloomingdale's for a few months as a furniture stock associate in called that position. So I get like $1,200 a month from that in gross pay. So,
I mean,
yeah.
Well, go on, because I got a lot to say about this.
Right. I should be able to finish it with no time. I do want to say though that she wants to get more money out of this, most likely, right? So it's like that with that Bayonetta character originally. What's her name again? Jennifer. What her name was? I
forget I remember what you're talking about, but I forget her name. The Bayonetta actress.
Yeah. So these voice actresses and voice actors, they're like rising up somehow, some way over the years, trying to get more money out of what they could have gotten out over the decades of their sales, from Konami and all, or from Bayonetta, that is too. As well, we'll include that too. So it's it's something where it's like I'd rather sign up for pro season than to get a salary a one-time salary from these companies. That's how I look at it. So that's the voice actor or voice actress's fault for not proceeding with that matter. So that's all on her.
Yeah. The way I would say it, if are you done or?
Yeah, I'm finished for now.
Okay. Yeah, the way I would say it is probably like Jen. You agreed to do a job for a certain amount. Now you want residuals 20 years after the fact? I mean, you were happy with $1,200 in 1998. Did you if I mean, we're not talking about Metal Gear Solid 4 that came out like in 2006. No.
Yeah, 2006, 2008, give or take.
Wasn't that Metal Gear Solid 3?
Metal Gear Solid 3 came out back in 2004, the original version.
Okay, so 4 came out like in 06.
Give or take, yeah.
Okay, maybe a year or two after that. But the thing is, you agreed to do it for $1,200 in 1998. Did you not get more money when you came back to Metal Gear Solid 4? Did you, I mean, and the thing is, like, she wants residuals. Great, that's going to make games go. That's another thing that's going to make games go up for the consumer. If we have to start paying voice actors residuals on how much the game makes. I mean, and the thing is, I don't know how hard it is to be a voice actor, but I've watched the Metal Gear Solid credits many times. Julie Monroe, who played Sniper Wolf, she also did the computer voice when you enter the shape memory alloy card in the PC. Remember, it's like you enter the card, and it's like, card number 1 confirmed. Awaiting card number 2. Do you remember that at the end of Metal Gear Solid, the original?
I believe so, yeah.
Yeah, Julie Monroe did the voice of that as well.
Oh, okay.
So in addition to being Sniper Wolf, she did that voice. So it's, I don't know how much she made, but if she made more, she did 2 parts. Sniper Wolf, which was just as important as many other characters, and then the computer voice at the end of the game when Liquid tricks you into arming the nuclear warhead when you thought you were disarming it with the shape memory alloy card. But yeah, what is she saying? She didn't get an increase in 2006. When you agree to a job, if you don't know how to do negotiations, maybe you should hire someone to handle these negotiations. I mean, it's ridiculous. And the thing is, Metal Gear Solid made $176 million. Let's just say it was Metal Gear Solid, not the whole franchise, just that one game. Okay, well, do we really have to count how many different voice actors there were? Don't they deserve to get paid? What about the people who developed the game? What about the marketing for the game? What about, I could go on and on about, you probably could find 200 names in the credits of Metal Gear Solid. And she's saying she wants residuals. And you want residuals 20 years after the fact. She wouldn't even name Metal Gear Solid in the past until she just named it this past month as and now she wants residuals. If you want residuals, how about you get that put in the contract before you accept the job?
Yes, don't sign up that you don't understand.
I mean, and if you suck at negotiations, hire someone. I'm sure there's people that could for like 10% or 30%, whatever it is, that could do these negotiations for you if you're not doing, But Metal Gear Solid, keep in mind, in 1998, it was a risk. It was coming. I mean, Metal Gear was put basically dead in 1998 before Metal Gear Solid came out.
Oh yeah.
We had Metal Gear and Snake's Revenge on Nintendo, and then it was dead. And Metal Gear Solid was basically a shot in the dark at revitalizing the series, renaming the series, and this was the first game. So of course, if you're getting in on the first game where the second game is not guaranteed, of course you're going to pay. Of course you're going to get an offer that's not so great. But you're the one who took it.
Right on.
I think I'm done. Anything else to add, or ready to move to the last story?
I was going to say though is that it's getting tiresome now. Whether it's gaming or it's music, these people from the past, over the last 30, 40 years of making these voices or tunes or playable solo stakes that matter. Now all of a sudden, years later, over the last 10 years now, they want like residuals, they want proceeds, or they want like a big payout for all those millions sold on those musics or those game stakes that matter. It's ridiculous. It's baffling.
Let's go into an alternate universe where Metal Gear Solid failed and there was no Metal Gear Solid 2, 3, or 4 or any of the spin-offs. Let's say Metal Gear Solid was a big
flop.
Is Jennifer Hale going to get back some of her pay to pay for that flop? She's like, I worked on that game. It turned out to be a success. I want more money. Well, that's not what you agreed to. And okay, you know what? I say, give Jennifer Hale her residuals. Any sales from Metal Gear Solid, the original, that come out now, she'll get a residual for those sales. Enjoy those 5 sales. I'm just, like I said, I'm just sick of it, and it's so selfish. I mean, we could play the Metal Gear Solid. I mean, I got time, and we only got one story left. We could play the ending of Metal Gear Solid and count the names of all the people that were either voice actors or developed the game or published. Konami has to get paid, or the quality assurance team that had like 20 people on it. We could probably count like 200 different names in those credits. And what? The hell with them? Now, I would say if like other actors like David Hayter, James Flinders, Julie Monroe, I'm blanking on who did most of the voice acting in that game. Yeah. Surprisingly, well, you remember the character names, not the voice actors. Now, but let's say the people that play, because don't get me wrong, Naomi Hunter was a big character in the story in the first Metal Gear Solid. But I mean, if the other people that were just as important as you, that were just as important as you, and I agree, she was just as important as Solid Snake, she was just as important as the Colonel, she was just as important as really any character you can name, because the whole story revolved around Snake being injected with Fox Dye without his knowledge, and then her story with Gray Fox. If those guys, those voice actors had gotten paid thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars, and Jennifer Hale only got $1,200, then she'd have a point. But you don't hear James Flinders or David Hayter. I'm not going to include David Hayter because he went on to work on all the rest of the games. But you don't hear James Flinders or the guy who played Ocelot or Julie Monroe who played Sniper Wolf. You don't hear these voice actors and actresses coming out saying, "Hey, we only got paid this much for Metal Gear Solid, a game that came out in 1998." So unless you got paid a whole lot less than they did, they were fine with it, and you were fine with it when you signed your name to the contract.
Oh yeah.
And also, I think, like I said, if we start giving voice actors residuals and shit, they're going to just get a voice actor that can do many different voices, and they're going to kill these jobs.
And that's why AI is taking over gradually, if not already, for the last couple of years now, because of ChatGPT and AI and stuff. It's getting to the point where most of these voice actors now are over demanded and asking for overpayments, and most of these companies like, you know what, let's forget about these voice actors, let's make our own through the ChatGPT and AI, and take it from there. So
it's not even AI. I remember when I was rapping back like in 2003, 2004, the editing program I had, I could like lower the pitch of my voice and it would sound like it wouldn't sound anything like me. You could, so just doing stuff like that, you don't even have to be like a Robin Williams and Mrs. Doubtfire. You could still get 2 or 3 voices out of the same person that would sound different. I bet you had no idea Sniper Wolf and the computer voice in Metal Gear Solid was the same voice actress.
Oh yeah. Hell,
So
I did that too with my old YouTube videos. Back in 2010, I made a gay parody, ad newspaper parody of my voice. I like a gay person, and I just pitched my voice to sound like a gay person. So, so anything's possible to any company out there can make their own like regular people in their companies to make get several voices out of that one voice, you know.
yeah, and I understand Jennifer wants to make more money. I get it. But A, you're agreeing to the price that you set when you signed the contract. Secondly, if she wants all these stuff like residuals, that's gonna end up costing the consumer more, and that's what pisses me off. Yeah, okay, it's great for you, but it's gonna screw over the consumer in the end, because that's gonna make the next Metal Gear Solid be $85 instead of $70. If these voice actors are getting what they want, you know. So that's the way I look at it. Anything else to add, or ready to move on to the last story for tonight?
I'm ready to move on to the last story.
All right. I do want to say this, that if in case in a small microscopic neutral decimal chance that Jennifer Hale does hear this, or someone she knows hears this, I appreciate the work she did as Naomi Hunter. She's talented, but I don't think she's thinking what the effects of her demands would have on consumers. Now moving on. Telltale Games calls... I'm sorry?
I'm ready.
Okay. Telltale Games calls recent layoffs regrettable. Confirms The Wolf Among Us 2 is still in production. A Telltale representative stated the company is working to support everyone impacted by the layoffs. Telltale Games, the studio behind narrative adventure games such as the recently released The Expanse and the upcoming The Wolf Among Us 2, has reportedly laid off a large number of its staff. Jonah Wong, a former cinematic artist at Telltale, shared the news on X earlier today, writing that the studio quality laid off most of the team in early September. She writes, "This is a sore subject." Jonah writes, "This is a sore subject. I feel necessary to add to the gaming layoff news. Telltale laid most of us off early September. Status of The Wolf Among Us 2, I can't say due to an NDA. Now I focus on what matters to me, my own game, and the following words. Games industry, we must unionize." Oh, jeez. Anyway, according to Wong, the team working on The Wolf Among Us 2 was already very small. Wong stated that those who were laid off signed an agreement not to cause any harm to Telltale's business, and the NDAs preventing them from discussing the current status of the upcoming game are currently in effect. When reached for comment, a Telltale Games representative told GameSpot that the company did not take these layoffs lightly. The representative also stated that all projects in development are still in production. Due to current market conditions, we regrettably had to let some of our Telltale team go recently. We did not take this action lightly, and our commitment to storytelling and finding new ways to do so remains the same. We are grateful to everyone for their dedication along this journey, and we are working to support everyone impacted. All projects currently in development are still in production, and we have no further updates at this time. Telltale has yet to elaborate on how many employees were laid off or what their compensation looks like. And while the company claims all projects are still in development, it is not yet known how these layoffs might impact the studio's release schedule. Unfortunately, Telltale Games is no stranger to layoffs. In 2018, the studio was shuttered after all its staff members found themselves suddenly and inexplicably laid off. The studio was reestablished in 2019 under new management and appeared to be doing well. In 2019, it announced the highly anticipated The Wolf Among Us 2 was in the works and scheduled to release in 2023. More recently, the studio released the final episode of The Expanse's first season, as well as made the move to acquire the UK-based production studio, Flavorworks. Telltale Studio is the latest of several game companies to undergo layoffs in 2023. In the past few months, hundreds of developers across Epic, Embracer, Blizzard, BioWare, CD Projekt Red, and several other studios have been laid off, making for one of the most tumultuous years in the gaming industry to date. So, what do you think about this layoff, and but apparently none of the projects have been canceled.
That's a good thing that Wolf Among Us 2 is still going on. So I want to see a sequel to that because I'm stuck at the end of the. Not stuck literally, obviously, but at the end of the game, I had a scenario where I was like, wait a second, that's it. Like, there's more to it, So it's like it's like a cliffhanger pretty much at the end of the Wolf Among Us 1. So
because the episode 5 is supposed to lead episode 1 of season 2.
Yep.
So I mean, I'm a big fan. What made me a big fan of Telltale games was The Wolf Among Us, including their other games, The Walking Dead. I played all 4 games of that. I played the 2 Batman games they made. I hope they make a third one.
How about that Borderlands the Telltale game?
Tales from the Borderlands. I played that. I played that all the way through.
That's good. I don't get to play that game yet. Tales of the Borderlands yet. I heard good stuff about it.
It's fun if you like any of the Telltale games, with the choices and dialogue and everything, then you'll like this one.
Okay.
Although I did kind of want to go back to Tales from the Borderlands because there's a choice where like One-Eyed Jack is trying to convince your character to let him take over your body, but he says like you could still marry the woman that you meet in the game and everything, but he wants to be able to run his company through you. The first time I chose no. The second time I just want to choose yes to see what would happen. But it's Xbox One, so I would have to at least get Game Pass Core or Game Pass Ultimate to do that.
Right.
It's just kind of, I could probably look up on YouTube and find out what happens if you select yes. But anyway, so it's a shame that these developers are getting laid off. But it's just the way things are. I mean, groceries. Looking at groceries, they're like an arm and a leg. At least even down here, I can just imagine what they are like in New York.
If you go to other parts of the city, like Upper East Side or whatever, one time they asked you like about like $8 for like 2 dozen eggs, something like that. $8 back like earlier this year, late last year. But here in where I live in Queens, so in the southeastern part of Queens. The cheapest dozen eggs I found was about $5-6. So
that's about the most expensive I've seen down here.
Okay.
So it's kind of like Dr. Games 101. Cheapest prices are our most expensive currently.
Yeah.
So it's. But I mean, it's just a shame, due to inflation and everything. They just have to do. Game studios have to do this. It's supposedly the economy's getting better, but you wouldn't know it looking at what's happening to every single game studio, big and small.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So it's a shame, but at least the games that we're looking forward to are still in production. Can't wait for the Wolf Among Us 2. I don't have anything else to add. Do you have anything else to add, or is that it?
I'm good for now for the time being, Triple J.
Alright, so this was episode number 82 of the Let's Discuss Gaming podcast. I hope you enjoyed it. Our next episode will be October 21st, hopefully starting at 9 p.m. Eastern. Do you have any plans for tomorrow? Like projects for tomorrow, videos for tomorrow, anything like that?
I did make a poll on Twitter for you guys to vote for if you want to play Apex Legends, Resident Evil 2 Remake, or Chrono Trigger PS1 version for Friday the 13th on October 13th around like 10 p.m., 11 p.m. give or take on the stream. If interested, vote over there on Twitter. I'll do a stream hopefully by that time if I get enough votes in.
Okay. So I don't really have any plans. I did start uploading things to YouTube. The Total Extreme Wrestling series that I'm like 15, 16 episodes in, I uploaded the first episode to YouTube. I'm going to download my old episodes from Rumble and then upload them to YouTube. I really don't have anything else to add. I really don't have anything else to add. Tomorrow, as far as new projects, maybe I'll play Max Payne 2 if I have the time. But that there might be a gameplay video of Max Payne 2 coming up sometime Sunday night. That's not definite.
Okay.
But until 2 weeks from now, or until the next time we're on Twitch or YouTube, good night, everyone.
All right, guys.